SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
At Community Bank, we're here for every part of your financial journey. From personal banking to growing your business or buying a home, our expert guidance makes it simple. We're more than a bank. We're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Glad to have you along as we begin a new week, begin a new month, and certainly start this new day. We are into the month that houses Thanksgiving. We're on the countdown to Thanksgiving, which I guess by default, Christmas is my favorite holiday, but I think deep down, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
That's your favorite eating holiday.
I think it's just my favorite. You know, you're always right there around the egg bowl. Usually you got a bunch of family and friends that get together. Great meal. And we're what, 25 days away?
Well, and the Egg Bowl, it looks like it may be shaping up to be a good one, too, with that big victory by the Dogs.
Maybe so. Well, you're giving them a lot of credit for that.
Well, I mean, it is a rivalry game, right?
No, of course it is. Absolutely. And for that reason, I completely agree. It could be an all-timer, perhaps. I'm just not sure that the win over Arkansas is like the proof of concept for that.
Oh, I'm not saying that they're all of a sudden going to be competing for the Natty or anything, but they could surely spoil Ole Miss's chances, and we definitely know how state fans enjoy doing that. So,
yeah, you're right about that. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank. Find them online at communitybank.net. It feels like we're back to normal. Have not been in this studio for this show in quite some time, over a week. After last Wednesday, I was out for work Monday and Tuesday last week, and last Wednesday where we were on the Ole Miss campus, and then at Hobnob. But it sure is good to be back in the routine with you and to get started and to get into a bunch, because we've got lots to talk about today, including a conversation with Marie Sanderson. She'll join us in the 7 o'clock hour. JT Mitchell will be along in the 8 o'clock hour. What a start to the day. It is chilly outside all across the Magnolia State this morning. Senatobia, you've got sunny skies today with a high near 65, light winds. What a fall day for you. Pretty much the same thing in Eupora. 68 for your high, sunny skies, winds light and variable. A little bit of a breeze today in Yazoo City, 68 degrees and sunshine. And you go farther south in the state to Wiggins, well, mainly sunny, high of 70. Winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour, so a cool breeze. What a weekend we had, Lance. I mean, just absolutely spectacular from DeSoto County to Harrison County and all points in between.
Buddy, it was perfect. Man, I had so much fun just sitting out. The deer were out running around and the dogs having a big time. Watching football. I even caught up on a couple of Bond movies, man. You know, just the whole time sitting outside, just enjoying every second of it.
Yeah. Shaq Bully tells me to be careful. He says I'm tiptoeing up to the homer line.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Shaq Bully. I don't think there's any, I'm not hiding the fact that I'm an Ole Miss fan. They're not. Mississippi State has played better. They've been close, all of those things. But Lance just posed the question to me about a rivalry game and, could be really – and it could be. It absolutely could be. And there are lots of people that are doing the whole, that one worries me. And it may very well. Let's see a little more. Stephen F. Austin was born on this day in 1793. Really did not live to a ripe old age, but he was active in the time that he was around. Founded and helped colonize the state of Texas as a Virginian, born in Austinville, Virginia. Lance, he only lived 43 years.
Hey,
44 years.
Yeah, back then, I mean, that was not even old, you know? That's young.
No, you're right. Well, hopefully it's not today either. Yeah. Bronco Nagurski was born in 1908 on this day, Canadian. Became a Canadian-American. Went to college at the University of Minnesota, played on that 1927 Minnesota team that was so good. Pro Football Hall of Famer with the Chicago Bears, born in Rainy River, Ontario in Canada. And he was a dude.
He was a beast there. Lived up to the name.
Of course, yeah.
Bronco.
Of course, the Nagurski Award named after him as well. Remember this cat? 1988 Democrat candidate for president. Michael Dukakis.
The hard hat.
Born in
right?
1933, served a couple of terms as governor of the state of Massachusetts, 75 to 79, then again 83 to 91. He was the 1988 Democrat presidential nominee, born in Brookline, Massachusetts, and got a good dusting by George H.W. Bush in the 1988 presidential election.
Yeah, he had the hard hat, right? Wasn't he the guy that wore the hard hat around every now and again? And when he was like on job sites and stuff. Yeah, I think he was the guy, the New Yorker.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think if I remember, it's white.
We'll dig in.
Yeah. I just have a
All
vivid memory of that. Going, I don't ever remember seeing a candidate running around, like doing the hard hat thing, similar to Mondami at 1 a.m. At the gay clubs, trying to get votes this weekend. So, you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Roseanne Barr is 73 years old today. She was born on this day in 1952. The comedian and TV star of the namesake television show, Roseanne. Born in Salt Lake City. Colin Kaepernick, born on this day in 1987. Once upon a time, he was a quarterback and a pretty darn good one. And then his kneeling protest during the national anthem started a movement, and he was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When you get to the beginning of the month of November, you've got a lot of things that happened on this day that are similar. So I'm going to give you a batch of them. A batch. Here we go. 1796, John Adams elected as the second president of the United States. 1868, Ulysses S. Grant wins presidential election over Horatio Seymour. 1896, Republican William McKinley defeats William Jennings Bryan to be president. 1908, William Howard Taft is elected 27th president. He beat William Jennings Bryan. That's a lot of guys that were elected on this day, November the 3rd.
You had
the Bank of it. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was a funny one out there. In 1957, the Russians, they found this stray dog on the side of the road, grabbed it up, Laika. It was actually thrown into the rocket and shot up into outer space and was the first one of all time, of a living creature into outer space.
Mm-hmm. That dog never got out of that box, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what happened to the dog, man?
No, it didn't make it through the whole flight thing.
And tough
deal.
one. Yeah, and then being a stray dog too. It's just like, hey, let's grab this guy.
Yeah. 1930, Bank of Italy was renamed the Bank of America. It was a legal immigrant, of course. 1934. How about this? It took a second for you there, Lance.
I had the mic off. I'm sorry.
I had to let that one just hang just for a second. Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig wins the American League Triple Crown. He hit .363 with 49 home runs and 165 runs batted in. but that was not good enough to be named MVP. No, that went to Mickey Cochran, who was the catcher manager for the Detroit Tigers, with a batting average 43 points below Gehrig's, half the number of runs batted in, and only 2 home runs. He was named the American League MVP.
Ooh, sounds like some inside job or something.
1936, FDR wins a second term in office, defeating the Republican candidate Alf Landon, the most lopsided election in American history in terms of the electoral vote. Now, was that at the time or all time? Because Reagan over Mondale was Minnesota only for Mondale, right?
I mean, I don't even remember the guy that you're talking about. You know, Alf who?
Well, you weren't really around.
I know, but I mean, I know a little about elections, and that one doesn't even ring a bell, man.
Alf Landon. And it was on this day in 1941 when Japanese Admiral Osami Nagano presented a complete plan for the attack on Pearl Harbor. Presented that to the Emperor of Japan, Hirohito. A couple months later, they would act on that plan. A few more things to tell you about from this day, then we'll get to some news headlines when we come back. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us.
From the Venable Glass Track.
Get the inside track on Mississippi politics. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Rolling with you on a Monday morning. It's a little lighter out, a little earlier today than it has been.
Yeah, it was spectacular on the way in.
Yeah. Did you remember yesterday?
No, I was actually kind of sideswiped by it and looked down, and I was like, oh, my goodness, it's what time? Oh, no, okay.
Which falling back an hour doesn't normally get you in trouble. It's when you spring forward by an hour and you're late for something, then, church usually or whatever it is on that Sunday morning. But I woke up at, I don't know, I guess to let the dogs out at like 6, and I was like, wait, all the clocks change on their own now. It doesn't really matter.
The one in my room doesn't. Yeah, I have one in my room, and the one in my truck doesn't. So, when I was looking at my phone, I was like, it's this early? Yeah, it didn't make sense. And, it was today that happened.
Yeah, now we're
making sense now.
Now we're all set. So, hope everybody's settled in. You got that extra hour of sleep yesterday. Maybe you felt a little bit productive, and then at 5:15, 5:30, it started getting dark. And you're like, no, not this again. Oh, here we go. November 3rd, man, there's a lot that happened on this day. So, 1956. This was a big deal. 1939 film The Wizard of Oz is televised for the first time as the finale of the Ford Star Jubilee series on CBS, hosted by Burt Lahr and Judy Garland's 10-year-old daughter, Liza Minnelli. Big numbers on that.
Yeah.
Lyndon B. Johnson was elected this day, 1964, in a landslide. He beat Hubert Humphrey. Hubert Humphrey was his vice presidential candidate, beat Barry Goldwater. Sandy Koufax picked up a Cy Young on this day in 1965. Unanimous vote, third time he had won it. 65 season was good for Koufax. Went 26-8 with a 1.73 ERA and a record-shattering 382 strikeouts. Sometimes a cover song is better than the original. Not always. Sound of Silence would be an example. The job that Disturbed did in remaking the Simon and Garfunkel hit. Just spectacular. I would argue this is the best of all time. The best cover of all time in 1992 when Whitney Houston released Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You. Billboard Song of the Year 1993. Went along with the movie The Bodyguard.
The Bodyguard. Kevin Costner, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you think of a better cover?
No, I mean, I'm in. I was
Okay.
a big Whitney fan, so yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
she could take it to the next level, man.
Mm-hmm. A couple more. 1992, Bill Clinton elected president of the United States, defeating the incumbent president, George H.W. Bush.
I feel your pain, America.
Do you know that it was on this day in 2014, so 11 years ago, the 104-story One World Trade Center officially opened, a little over 13 years after the September 11th attacks. 13 years before it was completely open. And finally, 2019, the black leather outfit that Olivia Newton-John wore in the film Grease sold at auction in Beverly Hills for $405,700. I don't know if she sent it to the cleaners first or like it was, as worn or whatever, but...
Man, you hope it wasn't pleather. You want it to be the real stuff.
Oh, no way. She was way too high class for that.
Oh, I love
that was
Olivia
absolutely the real,
Newton-John.
real thing.
What a beauty.
All right. Let's see here. C Spire text line 601-879-4395. Black Smoke Cherries, Can't You See? Best remake? Okay. Best cover? It's a good one. Really good one. News headlines for you. Here we go. One of the monkeys that escaped last week after a truck overturned on a Mississippi roadway was, it was taken care of on Sunday. Shot and killed by a woman who says that she feared for the safety of her children. Jessica Bond Ferguson said that she was alerted early Sunday by her 16-year-old son, who said that he thought he had seen a monkey running around in their yard in Heidelberg, Mississippi.
Oh, man. That didn't take off too far then.
She got out of bed, grabbed her firearm and her cell phone, and stepped outside where she saw the monkey about 60 feet away. This is the part of the story where I would like some details. Details that are not currently readily available to me. When it says she grabbed her firearm, are we talking a handgun, a shotgun, or a rifle? I assume by labeling it as a firearm, we're talking about a handgun. If it was a handgun, are we talking 9mm? Are we talking a 38?
Need a good old 45 long Colt revolver for that.
Did she have a good old 45 long Colt revolver? Maybe. Perhaps.
Have a stare down.
But that's a pretty good shot at 60 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a 20-yard shot.
It's like throwing a
Of a
baseball to a
monkey.
mitt. It's like throwing a baseball to a mitt. Yeah, you got to hit the strike zone.
Well, Jessica Bond Ferguson said that she and other residents had been warned about diseases that the escaped monkeys carried, and so she fired her gun. She said, I did what any other mother would do to protect her children. Got 5 of them, from 4 to 16. I shot at it, and it just stood there. And I shot again, and he backed up, and that's when he fell. Jessica Bond Ferguson taking care of the monkey. Well done.
That's what I'm talking about. So 2 left, is that right?
Maybe.
If I were her, I'd get some boots and a belt made out of that.
MDWFP came and picked up the carcass.
Okay.
Grammy Museum, Mississippi had a big fundraiser the other night, and they broke a record, raising more than $201,000 for future education opportunities. The Brass and Bayou 2025 Gala So Thursday night was centered on a pair of awards with Grammy-winning artist Trombone Shorty. He won the 7th Crossroads of American Music Award. He joins a list of really accomplished musicians, including Charlie Pride, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bobby Rush, Marty Stewart, Keb Mo, and Roseanne Cash. Past Christian elementary school teacher Sharian Wright won the 6th Lucy Award, the Lifting Up Children and Youth Award for music education efforts inside the classroom. All proceeds from the event raised through ticket sales, sponsorships, and an auction that included items from Taylor Swift, Eric Church, and Trombone Shorty himself, among the other Grammy greats. Going to benefit the museum's education program for students going forward. C-Spire text line, boots and a belt. Now, that's funny. Have a great Monday morning.
Well, thank you. You need to ring. If you got a cowboy hat, you got to get the little band for it, too, just to match it up all right.
Phone in one hand.
I loved that, yeah.
45 in the other.
Yeah, just videoing it the whole time.
Somebody said a pellet rifle.
That'd be a good shot.
Depends on. I'm going to stop right there, Shaq Bully. But thank you.
That's a good visual.
Appreciate you connecting with us this morning. Mississippi will likely join a growing number of states receiving waivers to modify what recipients of food assistance programs can purchase at the grocery store after floating the prospect of seeking permission from the federal government to allow Mississippi to kind of curtail the sugary food and drinks. Governor Tate Reeves has officially requested a waiver to do so. I believe it was right here on this radio program that he floated that idea, saying that he was open to the idea of exploring that. Been doing some exploring, and here's where they have landed. Processed foods that list sugar, cane sugar, corn syrup, or high fructose corn syrup as the first 2 ingredients will be prohibited from purchase using SNAP benefits. That excludes granulated sugar, raw sugar, and other single-ingredient sugars for cooking. Beverages that list carbonated water and sugar, cane syrup, cane sugar, or high fructose corn syrup as the first 2 ingredients will be prohibited. But aspartame or other low or non-caloric sweeteners will be allowed. And you can buy hot rotisserie chickens.
From the Zebra, Mississippi in the know, one morning at a time. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Lance, I know, I started this morning with, hey, we are in the month on the calendar that houses Thanksgiving. I can't stop thinking about Thanksgiving.
You're excited, man. I
am.
I like this Richard Cross.
We got a big crew coming to the house. I'm thinking about the menu, thinking about...
how many turkeys you going with? Do you do like one, or do you go with 2 and do them each a different way?
No, I usually do 4.
4, nice.
Yeah.
I always go to
which
the
is too
fried
much.
one the best, but
don't do a fry. I smoke them all.
You smoke them? Yeah.
Yeah.
Always delicious.
I am going to do better this year in getting the turkey sooner and getting that bad boy thawed. Mm-hmm. Now, it always turns out fine.
You just feel like you're
but
rushing?
Man, I am up against, like, when I'm loading it up on Wednesday night, the night before, and I'm pulling the giblet bag out and everything else. Like, there's inevitably still ice in the cavity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I should have done this 2 days earlier, right? I mean, like, get it done. That turkey needs to go in the refrigerator the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll all be okay.
Well, if you're doing 4 of them, yeah.
Trying to shove it in there on, Tuesday so that you can start cooking it on Wednesday night is not a good plan.
That's a lot of turkey to eat too, which is always a great challenge. I'm always up for it. So
Jimbo wants me to text him his address. He's going to send me some of his poultry wrap. Ooh. What is poultry wrap? What are we talking about?
I don't know. I always like a new trick or treat with you're cooking something.
Yeah.
A better way to do it. Let me know about it. It's like you wrap it with something to keep it crispy on the outside or something, I don't know. Yeah.
So I missed this message from last Tuesday. I think it happened in the afternoon during the sports show. Jimbo says that there were people that were listening that believed that the monkeys actually hijacked that truck.
I like it.
Oh, he's got poultry rub, not poultry wrap.
Yeah, rub now.
I got you. All right, let's get to some sports headlines. Your sports headlines every single morning are brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at Pearl River Resort. Better than that, find them right outside of Philadelphia, Choctaw, Mississippi. Pearl River Resort. You got the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. You got live entertainment. You've got casino thrills, table games, lots of slots. You can find a poker tournament. Of course, there's the sports book inside the Golden Moon Casino. So much to do at Pearl River Resort. PearlRiverResort.com. Blake Shapen threw an 18-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Evans on 4th down with 48 seconds remaining, lifting Mississippi State over Arkansas 38-35 Saturday evening. First SEC win of the year, snapped a 16-game SEC losing streak. The Bulldogs now 5-4 overall, needing one win in their final 3 games to become bowl eligible. They trailed by 14 points with 13:43 left before Shapen led scoring drives of 75, 43, and 69 yards to overcome the deficit. Arkansas is now 2-7 on the year. They fell to 0-5 in the SEC. Entered the game, though, with the 7th-ranked offense in the FBS. They totaled just 15 total yards in their final 3 drives of the game. Now, Blake Shapen missed a chunk of the third quarter. Took a big hit on the first play of the second half. Backup quarterback Kamario Taylor came into the game. He led a couple of scoring drives. One that was capped with a 45-yard touchdown pass to Evans, the other a 20-yard touchdown run. There were a lot of Mississippi State folks that were asking the question, why are you bringing Blake Shapen back into the game? Why are you doing it? And then he engineers 3 touchdown scoring drives in the fourth quarter. Oh, by the way, Arkansas, 18 penalties for 193 yards.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
No bueno, Hogs. 18 for 193, Lance?
I don't think I've ever heard of that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was one of those stats that you're like, did I hear that correctly? Mm-hmm. Apparently it was read that way, and man.
The Ole Miss offense was not at its best on Saturday night. Trinidad Chambliss was not at his best, and he said as much after the ball game. The Ole Miss defense may have played its best game of the season as the Rebels move to 8-1 on the year, 5-1 in Southeastern Conference play, with a 30-14 win over South Carolina. Chambliss threw for 159 yards and a touchdown. He ran for 59 more yards and a score, but the story of the offense was a record-setting night for Kejuan Lacey, 24 carries, career-high 167 yards, including a late 54-yard touchdown run to ice it for Ole Miss. Rebels outscored the Gamecocks 13-7 in the second half, 10-0 in the fourth quarter en route to the win. But it was the Ole Miss defense, 6 sacks in the game. Suntarian Perkins got a sack and a half, his first of the year. Cam Franklin had one. Will Eccles got half a sack. Princewell Luman-Mielen had a big first-half sack. T.J. Daughtery split a sack, as did Jamarius Brown. And Ashawn Womack had a sack mixed in there as well. 8 tackles for loss, a couple of interceptions, which has not been those have not been easy to come by this year for Ole Miss. And the Rebels get the win. They will host the Citadel this Saturday at noon at Vaught Hemingway Stadium before finishing with Florida and Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl on the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Man,
by the way,
that second half
Mississippi
was
State's
a sack
got,
party.
Yeah, it was. It really was. Like, one end said to the other, meet you at the quarterback.
Yeah, I was a little worried there for a minute about Lenoris in the second half, but once they started laying on him, man, I mean, they did a great job of bracketing him and keeping him hemmed up because, that dude's he's a hoss.
He is. He absolutely is. Mississippi State's got Georgia this coming Saturday, and that got a big one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
The Georgia Bulldogs coming off a win over Florida in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's what it was called, before we became so sensitive to everything. That's what I still call it. 24-20 was the win there for the Dogs over the Gators.
Well, probably more appropriate to be the outdoor seltzer party these days, though. I don't know how many people are drinking cocktails, but
Yeah.
world's largest outdoor seltzer party.
You
never know there. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. One of the legendary calls for the great Larry Munson, rest his soul, was, I think it was on the Lindsey Scott run, where he goes, "Oh, there's gonna be some property destroyed at St. Simon's Island tonight. Dogs win." Longhorns won on Saturday, 34-31 over Vanderbilt. Texas was in control, up 31-10. Arch Manning played his best game as a Texas Longhorn. But then Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt would not go away. Couple of late touchdowns. In fact, 21 fourth-quarter points for Vanderbilt. It's one of those games where coach says, we really didn't lose. We just ran out of time, because it sure felt like it was moving in that direction. Pavia threw for 365 and 3 scores. Arch Manning, 328 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game as well. That one was really entertaining.
You got that right. I thought it was over at half.
Yeah. We had popped in to grab some lunch in Oxford, and it was on TV, and it was like everybody was cheering for Vanderbilt. Wild one in Knoxville. Oklahoma bounces back from the home loss to Ole Miss a week ago. They beat Tennessee 33-27. And this is one of those games that kind of set college football back just a little bit. Kentucky 10, Auburn 3, Hugh Freeze unemployed.
See you later, Hugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if that offense is just brutal, too, to watch. I mean, I don't know how.
Defense is elite.
Yeah, elite D, but I mean, as an offensive-minded coach, can you put that product on the field? And he's done it routinely. It's not like this is the first year.
Yeah.
It's just worse. It looks worse, and it is worse.
You want a stat?
Yeah.
Auburn has allowed 24 points or fewer in all 9 of its games this season. The other 2 teams that have done that, number 1 Ohio State and number 2 Indiana. And yet Auburn is 4-5, 1-5 in the SEC, and they've got an interim head coach named DJ Durkin.
Uh-oh.
Time out with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross. Those are your sports headlines presented by Pearl River Resort. Online, pearlriverresort.com.
From the Venable Glass.
Know where the news is going next. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Cross with you. SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. It's time for your Mississippi Lottery update, brought to you by the Mississippi Lottery, online at mslottery.com. The estimated jackpot tonight for Lotto America, a little over $6 million with an estimated cash value of $2.85 million. No jackpot winner on Saturday night, so the next drawing for tonight, Monday, November 3rd, $419 million. Cash value on Powerball up to $198 million. Saturday night's numbers were 2, 26, 43, 44, and 62 with a Powerball of 22. The next really, really big drawing coming your way tomorrow night, Mega Millions, Tuesday, November 4th, $800 million, 371,700,000, the cash value on that if you take it all at once. That was after Friday night's drawing that had 2, 24, 52, 66, and 68 as the numbers, the Mega Ball of 9. So, check it all out. Be sure to check out the Mississippi Lottery website as well. At the Mississippi Lottery, they are now celebrating a 6-year birthday, and so a lot of cool stuff that is happening with the Mississippi Lottery. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. We appreciate you starting your day with us, and we got a ton to get to. Marie Sanderson will join us about half an hour from right now, a little over that, bottom of the 7 o'clock hour, and then JT Mitchell will be along to talk about some of the news headlines, what we are looking for this week as well. Tomorrow is an election day. Got to remember that, and we'll try to keep you up to date with that. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank, rooted in our community, communitybank.net. Check them out online at communitybank.net. Somebody was not happy about the rotisserie chicken exclusion. So that news story, it kind of ran out of time there at the end.
Yeah, what were you talking about with that?
All
I
right,
didn't
so
catch that exactly.
The governor's request, we know, is coming at a perilous time for SNAP. Benefits not expected to roll out in this, beginning of this month. There was a Boston judge that could upend the temporary SNAP pause in the distribution of benefits. We're going to wait for more on that coming. But there was one exception that Tate Reeves put in the SNAP changes, and that was you could buy a hot rotisserie chicken from your grocery store. And I guess maybe the way that the rotisserie chicken is cooked, it would cause some of those ingredients that might not let it be bought with SNAP to be in it. But you're going to be able to do that. I mean, I love a good hot rotisserie chicken from the grocery store.
Oh, man, you could just walk around the grocery store and eat it while you're shopping,
See, I got the hot prepared chicken will now also be eligible for purchase using SNAP benefits per the governor's request. This includes items like rotisserie and non-fried, non-breaded chicken. Mississippi will collaborate with the Double Up Food Bucks program to increase the purchase of fresh fruits and vegetables when hot prepared chicken is purchased as well.
So no buttermilk, spatchcock, hot fried deep into the fryer. Not doing that. It's gotta be more of a grill.
But you don't have to have that to get a
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't go the fried route, but it has to be more on the healthy end of the chicken. Gotcha.
And I don't know all of the rules as it pertains to SNAP cards. I'm assuming that it's more for long-term groceries that you would prepare yourself, as opposed to being able to buy, like, fast food. Mm-hmm. But even though it's available fast, rotisserie chicken would not qualify as a fast food. There would be an exception in there, and so that you would be able to purchase those. Man, you can flat make a meal out of that,
I
too.
love them. Yeah.
I mean, I cannot tell you how many times we're like, we need something to eat. We don't need fast food. It's like, hey, grab a chicken. And then you throw in a can of green beans or some broccoli and,
You're going way,
fruit.
I'm more like get the rotisserie chicken.
And you just start pulling it.
Sweet baby Ray's and some white bread and just start making some barbecue chicken sandwiches real quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
I ate the whole thing that way. It's gone.
Bubba in Starkville said prepared food normally does not qualify. Good call, Tate. I agree. Richard, SNAP recipients should only be allowed to buy the same items that WIC recipients get. Okay. So that's why grocery stores with rotisserie chickens never have marked down whole chickens. I have not compared the prices, Thomas, but I'm sure you have. Thanks for being with us this morning. 1 hour in the book, 7 o'clock hour on the way. The news is next. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
No filibuster. Just everything you need to know to start your day smarter. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Good morning to you. For those of you just joining us to start this 7 o'clock hour, thanks for making us part of the start of your day. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank. We're more than just a place to manage your money. We're your neighbors, your partners, and your trusted financial advisors. For decades, we've been rooted in our community, helping families, small businesses, and individuals achieve their dreams, whether it's opening your first savings account, planning for a brighter future, or growing your business. We're here every step of the way. We're dedicated to our customers, committed to your success, and always here when you need us. Community Bank, rooted in our community, member FDIC. Richard Cross, Lance Tolbert with you. It is Monday morning, the 3rd of November. Thanks for being with us. Just as an aside, I have had the chance to meet or briefly visit with a lot of you over the course of the last year or so. And you've had a lot of nice things to say. And just know that it means a lot that this is part of your morning routine. Whether, you have to jump in the car and drive somewhere a couple of days a week and you tune in when you're in the car, or you get in and take the kids to school every day. Whatever that is, I'm speaking on Lance's behalf. I try not to do that, but I'm doing it on Lance's behalf as well. We appreciate very much you making us part of your routine.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here hanging out with you. So thank you for letting me do this. So it goes both ways, and man, I tell you, I always love bumping into our listeners when I get the chance. They're such great people when they recognize your voice, or I don't put myself on TV much, so, I try to stay away from that. I don't want to break it, but you guys are great. I always love talking to you. Thank you for taking the time to come up and say things, and it's always wonderful. Even if you have something negative to say, it's always nice to know, because then we can change. You can make a little adjustment somewhere. Or we can say –
we might not.
Or may not. Say,
appreciate the opinion.
That's the way it is, man. Yeah.
This hour of Mornings with Richard Cross brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR benefits and payroll, you are not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services, plus a custom plan that fits you. Give them a call today. The number is 601-206-7966, or go to MWGEmployerServices.com. Tomorrow in Mississippi is an election day, but it's a different type of election day than normal. It is not 82 counties in every city and every precinct in the state all going and voting for the same things. No, it's very scattered, And when we have small, scattered special elections in off years, turnout tends to be low, but it is an important election because 17 seats in the legislature are up for grabs in this one. You've also got, outside the state of Mississippi, a mayoral election in New York City. You've got a governor's race in New Jersey, a governor's race in Virginia, a hotly contested attorney general's race in Virginia, where one of the candidates talked about wanting to kill his political opponents.
Their children,
and their children. And yet he's neck and neck in the polls, and the gubernatorial candidate has gone on the campaign trail with him, or she has brought him along on the campaign trail with her. Whoo. I will tell you that I am genuinely intrigued. I am genuinely intrigued about, and I think they will, about whether or not New Yorkers are going to elect a communist mayor. Oh, Richard, you've been watching too much Fox News. He's a democratic socialist, not a communist.
Okay.
Yeah, they're first cousins.
Kissing cousins.
And there's some debate as to whether or not they're actually brother and sister as opposed to just cousins.
They're like the Siamese twins separated at birth.
Oh, Prop 50 is on the ballot in California also, right? Yeah. That's the redistricting measure. So New York, you're going to elect a professed communist who is a Palestinian sympathizer, a Hamas sympathizer. $11 years ago today, is that what we said? It's 2014, we're in 2025. 11 years ago today, One World Trade Center reopened.
13, I think, is what it was. Am I wrong?
It's 11 years ago today that it opened, 13 years after the 9/11 attacks. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to do.
It's not a long time ago.
It must be a long time for a lot of those folks. Must have been like years, like an entire lifetime ago, that somebody that is supportive, or at the very least, even if not supportive, won't speak out against an organization that hates America and it was at the very least loosely tied to the 9/11 attackers, flew 2 planes into the World Trade Center, killed over 2,000 people in New York City, and now Mamdani's going to be your mayor? Are you really going to do it? My guess is yes, you are. Because you really don't care about the things you say you care about, right? You just care about winning elections, and you hate Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's a Republican, and you're a Democrat, and so if you are on that side of the party, you vote for anything that is opposite him, and your brain never has to, electrons never have to bounce from one spot to another. Okay. Walter, I love how you're moving the cheese, right? Like you have to make your point that fits your narrative as part of another point, because he says the Saudis were tied to 9/11, and we're friends with them now too. Thanks for the history lesson, Walter. I wouldn't have known that if you had not texted me that right now. But see, that's how it is, Walter. That's how it is. If I make one point about one thing, you're like, oh, but what about? Because you're all about the but what abouts. I recognize that the relationship with Saudi Arabia is incredibly complicated. I recognize that.
And we were friends with
Whole
them.
world's
we
complicated.
we were very good friends with the Saudis before 9/11, just to be honest here. It didn't like we just buddied up with them yesterday. I mean, this has been a long-term relationship for a long time.
Walter says, no, I'm the one making a point and moving the cheese. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. But, Walter, tell me more about this whole communist mayor in New York and how that's a good thing. Because I was kind of talking about, like, the people that were responsible for bombing the towers. He's supportive of organizations that are tied to them. But maybe you just think it's a good idea, right? Maybe you just think we should have communist mayors and governors in all of our cities and states, Walter. Right? Because things have been going so well with Democrats in charge of these big blue cities, with Democrats in states as governors. They've been going really, really well, so maybe we should just keep doing that. Things were going exceptionally well with the Democrat in office as president of the United States. Maybe we should have elected another one. Or maybe, Walter, maybe, just maybe, people are sick and tired of Democrat policies and they're finally pushing back on them. Maybe that's what's happening, Walter. Maybe the 10,000 young people that stood in line in the rain and the cold to go in and hear the Vice President of the United States speak, to hear the widow of Charlie Kirk speak, maybe you and your crazy policies of the left, maybe you have awakened a movement. Maybe you have created something that you didn't even really know exist or certainly didn't want to recognize existed out there, Walter. But tell me more about moving the cheese. And tell me about how I'm weaving the narrative just to make it fit what I want to talk about. Okay? Sure. Sure. Is that what you want? Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm, SuperTalk TV. We're back with you right after this.
See that woman just above her knee.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
Pour yourself a cup of coffee and get the Magnolia State's most important news of the day. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
I try to call you, but on the midnight watch I realize why twice you ran away. Think about how many times I have known.
Just for the record, I do appreciate Walter texting. I'm glad that he listens, and I appreciate an alternate viewpoint. And, Walker, you might have caught a stray or two there. It's not that I was, well, kind of. I was responding directly to you, but it was the mindset that I was responding to as much as anything, and it's kind of hard to understand. You can join the conversation on the C Spire text line. The number is 601-879-4395. Are you ready for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Good news is you don't have to wait. They are right now online at C Spire and cspire.com. Like any new iPhone, up to $1,000 off with trade-in plus a free Apple Watch SE to go with it. Or for Samsung fans, you can get the new Galaxy S25 for free today. No trade-in needed. The best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals go fast, so don't wait. Shop at cspire.com or visit your local C Spire store today. C Spire, customer inspired. Just like on their website right now, cspire.com, click on the wireless tab, and you can find the deals that are available to you under holiday deals. Great stuff. Great stuff.
I think changing phones is like, to me, like going to the dentist, and I don't mean it against any dentist or anything, but it's like so much stuff is on your phone now.
Yeah, it's because you got the Samsung.
Yeah, I guess so, but yeah, I mean, I need a new one, but I'm just like, I'm not necessarily excited because then I got to sit there for a day, and figure.
You know
that
what?
out.
I mean, other than, it takes a little while for it to update and all of those good things. But the last time I did a phone migration, like just from one to the next, I didn't have to do anything other than like email address, password, log in, merge, and like exactly the way my old phone was set up, my new phone was set up. Everything was in the exact same place, didn't have to do anything or move anything. Pretty easy.
All right.
Way back. I mean, do you remember, golly, it's been, a decade ago, where you got a new phone and you had to take your old phone in and they would transfer the numbers over from your old phone to your new phone? Had the cords and the little machine and it moved over and it took a little, depending on how many that's in the rearview mirror.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
The last time I got a phone, I had to do that.
Whole lot easier now. All right, we'll get into this with JT Mitchell coming up a little bit later, 8:30 or so. Some of these elections. Let's talk briefly about them here. 17 legislative seats on the ballot. 7 of them are uncontested. These are the ones that are set to take office in January, the uncontested races. Ricky Thompson in District 16, he's a Democrat, beat Brady Davis. Democrat Carl Gibbs in District 36 was unopposed. Republican Dana McClain in House District 39 was unopposed. Democrat Kabir Kareem in District 41, Lowndes County, defeated Pierre Beard. Democrat Juan Barnett in Senate District 34 was unopposed. Republican Joey Fillingane, Senate 41, was unopposed. Also unopposed in the general. And then Don Hartness in Senate 42, a Republican, defeated Robin Robinson, unopposed in the general. So those 7 seats are spoken for. Now you get into the races. House 22, Chickasaw County, Clay County, Monroe County. Incumbent John Lancaster, who flipped from Democrat to Republican, taking on Democrat Justin Crosby. House 26, north part of the Delta, Bolivar, Coahoma, Sunflower. This is a nonpartisan race because it is a seat where you are replacing a representative that stepped down to be mayor. So Orlando Payton is now serving as mayor of Clarksdale. Mary Frances Deere Moten, Kim Seals, and Otha Williams III are the 3 that are running for that Bolivar, Coahoma, Sunflower District 26 seat. Senate District 1. This one has been pretty hotly contested, right? Senator Michael McClendon has held the seat since 2020. He defeated former Alabama football player and DeSoto Economic Development Council board member John Stevenson in the primary. One of several candidates across the state that, according to our buddy JT, said he didn't file his campaign finance reform report on time. But he's running against Chris Hanna, Marine Corps veteran and a farmer in Hernando. Senate District 2, this is DeSoto and Tate County. South Haven Ward 2 Alderman Charlie Hoots facing Teresa Isom. Hoots is the Republican. And this seat is coming open following the retirement of David Parker. Senate District 11. Man, Coahoma, DeSoto, Quitman, Tate, Tunica counties. I'm glad the Supreme Court stepped in and said, we really need to redraw this district line. We need to make this thing as fair as it can be. How do we do that? Let's take parts of 5 counties. Good. Reginald Jackson is the incumbent. He beat Abe Hudson Jr. in the primary. Kendall Pruitt is the opponent and trying to flip that seat red. Received an endorsement from former Governor Phil Bryant. Okay. Then you got Senate District 19 in DeSoto County. Kevin Blackwell looking to retain a seat that he's held since 2016, facing Diane Black. I know there's a lot here, and these are arduous. It's a big deal, though. Big deal. And these are people that are going to go to work right away. District 24 in the Senate. LaFleur, Panola, and Tallahatchie counties. David Jordan served 32 years in the legislature before deciding to retire. And so you've got Carissa Brown, Jason Colquitt, Everett Hill, Lorette McClee, Justin Pope, and Giorgio Proctor. Remember, if nobody out of that group gets over 50% of the vote, then you will have a runoff with the top 2 vote getters in terms of percentage of votes. District 26, this one is open because John Horn is now the mayor of Jackson. Coleman Boyd, Jermaine Cooley, Letitia Johnson, Teresa Kennedy, Kamisha Mumford, James Pittman, Jeffrey Stallworth. Okay. What are you hearing locally, Lance?
Man, I'm telling you, I haven't heard much of anything. JT would have to be the one because there's so many in that race, and there's signs of everybody's everywhere. It was kind of like the mayor's race there for a while. You knew there was John was probably leading, but I wouldn't even know where to start on that one.
All right.
The replacement for Horn, you mean? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's one I just don't know. I don't have a feel for it. We've had a couple on in local programming over the last month, and all of them are very qualified seemingly, so I don't know.
Forest, Lamar, and Perry counties, you got the incumbent Senator Chris Johnson, Republican. The challenger is Democrat Shakita Taylor. Senate District 45, Forest and Lamar counties, Johnny Dupree trying to get back on the political scene as a Democrat taking on the Republican Anna Rush. We talked about that particular race with Henry Barber a couple of weeks ago. We get a message on the C Spire text line. To say this is one odd upcoming election day would be quite an understatement. I completely agree with you. We have tried our darndest not to let this special election day slip up on you. But, man, life happens. And election days sometimes slip up on us. A lot of seats, though, open in this one. We're back with you after this. Mornings with Richard Cross.
From the Seabrook.
Things with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Shaping Mississippi politics each morning. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Pleasure to be with you. It is Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming online at supertalk.fm and supertalk.tv. You can join us on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Happy to welcome my first guest this morning, a name that you know well, a voice you're going to recognize, Maurice Sanderson, GOP strategist, been around politics for a while in the state of Mississippi and the D.C. area as well. Marie, good morning to you.
Morning, Richard. How are you?
Doing well. Always appreciate your time. So 42 days, give or take. I think it's 42 days now that the government has been shut down. And, Republicans say it's simple. Just pass the clean resolution, and then we'll debate it and sort it all out. And Democrats are saying, no, you got to debate first with us, and we got to get an agreement, and then in good faith we'll come back to work. Who's right here?
Well, they both think they're right, and they both have polling telling them that they're right. I mean, this is how this works. They poll every week to see if their people, their base agrees with what they're doing. They look and see where the independents are, and they'll either double down or change course. So, I think the last poll I saw that was not an internal poll, but one that was public, had Americans broadly, take this with a grain of salt, blaming Republicans, House Republicans to be specific, for the shutdown, then blaming Democrats more broadly, and then blaming the president third, a distant third. So people really know that this is Congress. Congress regularly has a less favorable poll than most other elected officials, including governors and particularly the president.
Why House Republicans when it's the Senate that's actually caused the shutdown?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I don't know if it has to do with the premiums that are apparently going up. You'll note that they always give a percentage and not an actual dollar amount. I think Republicans are looking forward to that actual dollar amount. When you have a 121% increase on, a couple of dollars, how significant is that? I think you'll start seeing some posturing and pundits saying, let's talk about what the dollar increase is and not the premium and through a percentage. But yeah, I think Republicans are bearing the brunt of some of that as well. And just generally they're closer to their electorate and tend to face more blame.
Who blinks first in this government shutdown debate? Because it appears as if the president of the United States has dug in his heels and says, I'm more than happy to negotiate, but I will not negotiate while staring down the barrel of a gun.
It's not the president. I think the president is firm where he is. The only room he's given is to ask Leader Thune to use the nuclear option, which is to get rid of the filibuster. And leadership in the Senate have said, we really don't want to do that. And that's because, the Democrats were in charge. You don't want them to have the ability to move legislation without a filibuster. That moves our country into some crazy territory if someone has complete charge, Republicans or Democrats. But look, the president feels good about where he is. I think ultimately, if I'm watching a movie, I think the Democrats probably cave. I think they think they're going to have a good day tomorrow. I heard you talking in the earlier segment, we have races in Mississippi, but there's races in Virginia and New Jersey. Those are typically nationally considered bellwether races about where the country's heading. And usually the party who's not in charge in the White House wins. And so Democrats think they'll have a good election tomorrow. And then at that point, they can maybe pivot and maybe give in a little bit.
There's such a fascinating dynamic, especially in the state of Virginia, where you've got Joey Jones, who has got those text messages that came out in which he's talking about wanting to kill a political opponent and kill that guy's children. And it was a really big deal, and Democrats absolutely refused to condemn him. They said, what he said was wrong, but I've known him for a long time. We got that a lot with Tim Kaine and with others. Are Virginians going to elect this guy? Is he actually going to win?
I think that'll be a bright spot for Republicans on Tuesday. I think we'll win the Attorney General's race in Virginia. This guy should be off the ticket. I think what we had hoped to see, depending on what happens, is that he would have done more harm to the Democrat ticket broadly. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily creeping up and impacting Abigail Spanberger, who was the Democrat running for governor in Virginia.
And yet she's
currently pulling ahead.
She's campaigned with him and has invited him to her campaign stops, right?
Yeah, it's disappointing. As much grief as I give Republicans for things that have happened, that there wasn't more of a national concern about what he said. Obviously, he deserves to lose. If he wins that race, that'll be extremely troubling.
Yeah. And then New Jersey is fascinating. Obviously, New York City as well with Mamdani. It just feels like a foregone conclusion at this point, unless you just have hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers who get to the polling place and they say, I just can't do it. But there's nothing to tell us at this point that that's going to happen.
I'm seeing the polls you're seeing, and it looks like he's going to win handedly. So New York is going to be an interesting place to watch. It'll be interesting to see what it does to the governor's race, to AOC, to Schumer. New York politics is about to be turned on its head.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, he's, let's just be plain speak. He's a communist.
Right.
The Democrat Party has decided to embrace him. They did that over endorsing Andrew Cuomo, who was the former governor who's in that race, who I think if I quote the sign on 60 Minutes, he said, I'll always, support a really bad Democrat over a communist.
Yeah.
And so if you have this, both parties have, fringe, whatever you want to call them. The Communist Party socialism is becoming more common in this populist movement on the Democrat side. And so if this guy wins and he becomes popular, and he's endorsed by AOC, he's endorsed by Bernie Sanders, does he pull the party to the left to a place that we haven't seen before? Does that impact who runs for president in 2028? Does that impact again, Elise Stefanik I think people on your show know Elise Stefanik. She's made her name for herself nationally. Yeah. She's running for governor against Kathleen Hochul. And so that'll be a really tough race for Elise, but I think she's up to the task to win that. But beyond New York and what he does to Schumer, does he run against Schumer one day? Does he make Schumer move more to the left, who's the leader of the Democrat Party from New York? I think it has national implications.
So this is a really fascinating thing to me that you're talking about. Can this guy, can Mamdani pull the Democrat Party farther to the left? It feels like the election of Donald Trump and almost a year ago was a repudiation of this far to the left policies that Democrats have embraced. And we heard in the immediate aftermath, right? In the immediate aftermath of the election, there were Democrats, talking heads, pundits that were going, the messaging of the party's got to change, right? The people of the United States, they want safety, they want secure borders. We heard all of those things. And after about a month, they went not only back to where they were, but apparently even farther to the left. How is this a strategy that, like, a coherent brain has decided is the way for Democrats to go?
Well, I'm not sure that it's a strategy. I mean, sometimes you can't pick who runs in these races and what they're for, but it's certainly motivating their base. And sometimes there's a strategy in simply making sure that your base is motivated and they get out and they vote. That's one strategy. But sure, if this is the type of candidate that the Democrats nominate in 2028, that makes the race for the White House an uphill battle, in my view. Republicans are a big tent strategy right now. This White House, the president's a great communicator, and yes, he challenges people sometimes in his rhetoric, but the things they're doing, there's something for everyone. There's a populist movement to it. There's also a cut spending. I mean, that's why we're having this fight about Obamacare to begin with. And so I think, look, if we put someone forward that channels this Trump philosophy, and they put someone forward like we're seeing in New York, I think we'll have another Republican president in 2028.
So if you're a Republican, I mean, if you are a Republican voter sitting in, I don't know, Hattiesburg, Mississippi today, are you for Mamdani? Because ultimately it leads to more red for the Republicans on a bigger scale? I mean, are you sacrificing arguably the greatest city in the world for the greatest country in the world?
That's an interesting question. I guess there's some who, that's a great point. I mean, sure. I mean, I think Republicans kind of want to put him in the spotlight. Look what New York did. I mean, certainly it depends on how he governs and what happens there. Cuomo was quoted saying, "You want me to be the mayor of New York if we have a disaster or a terrorist attack or COVID again. You do not want this guy who's a socialist running our city."
Yeah. Whew, what a time we're in. Marie, always appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good week.
We'll talk soon. GOP strategist brings a really, really interesting perspective. Worked with the Republican Governors Association for a long time as a strategist and messaging expert. We're back with you after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi, supertalk.fm.
From the Venable Glass.
Mornings with Richard Cross, here on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
What else?
And always on the SuperTalk app.
We both knew it was just a matter of time. Living our dreams, oh, you on top. My mind is aching, Lord, it won't stop. That's how it happens, living life by the drop.
Welcome again. It is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Glad to have you along for the ride. The C Spire text line is open. 601-879-4395. Mose says if Mamdani can implement any of his policies, people will actually get to feel the pain. It could be the death knell for far-left Democrats for decades. Could be. Mamdani is a huge plus for Republicans, as in they will try to make him the face of the Democrats. Yeah, yes.
Well, I think Gavin Newsom's hoping that's the case.
Well, how much has that worked, though? Like for let's go back to 2008. Republicans have been trying to take the leftmost person in that party and make them the face of the Democrat Party, and it's yielded very mixed results. I mean, for the longest time, it was Nancy Pelosi and her ilk, and then it's, AOC and, Ilhan Omar and whatever else. And now it's Gavin Newsom, which, to your point, Lance, is that, if Mamdani can be the radical face of the Democrat Party, does that mean Gavin Newsom is like the voice of the reason among Democrats?
That's my point, yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Yep.
Yeah.
Allows him to raise a lot of money, too.
Yeah. I agree with what Marie Sanderson said just a second ago, though. Marie said that if you see this Mamdani and Spanberger and these others kind of win these elections, and that's what Republicans are faced with in terms of holding on to the White House, then it's a pretty significant uphill climb. Here's the only problem that I have with, Lance, what you said. Thomas, you say chess, not checkers, LOL. You are giving Democrat strategists and, frankly, the base a lot of credit if you're calling that a strategy.
I'm not saying it's a strategy at all. I think that's
just a potential byproduct.
I think it's a byproduct of the
insanity.
Times. Yeah, crawfishing into opportunity, basically. That's seemingly what Mamdani's done. Is backing himself into this very fragmented base that if you cater to them, they're extremely vocal, and that seems to have enticed many other maybe moderates on the Democrat to kind of pull into this. Well, that's our guy. He's going to win. He's got all these folks over here, and all the crazies happening there. And over here in California, this polished guy with pretty teeth and great hair, he's going to look like the voice of reason. And I don't believe that's a strategy. I just think that's how it happened.
Yeah. Exciting news coming for Starkville. Community Bank has officially opened their newest location. It's at 403 Russell Street. Mark your calendar for this Thursday, November 6th. when they will host a grand opening celebration from 4 until 6:30 p.m. You can enjoy food and drinks, connect with the Community Bank team, and you can enter for a chance to win a $2,500 cash prize, along with some other great prizes that are going to be given away. It's a great opportunity to connect with a bank known for its commitment to local service and community values. Don't miss it. Community Bank, a bank like no other, member FDIC.
I want to say something about
this Thursday.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say something about oil production, because we have hit records under Trump, but you got to go back under Biden.
I'm just trying to give away $2,500 here, Lance.
Yeah, I love it.
You can go buy some oil.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where I was going. When I go fill up, man, it is a significant difference in my vehicle, and I don't have it like a, 15-gallon tank. So, it's a big difference. But we did hit production records under Biden, and you got to ask yourself the question, why was oil, even though we were producing at such a higher rate, why was it more expensive? Then you fast forward to Trump, and you're producing only about 1 million more barrels a day, which is another record. But at the same time, why are prices so much lower? 1 million barrels is not that big of a difference on a daily basis. So, Trump's policies.
What's your answer to that?
So, Trump's policies, though, that's what I'm saying. People say, the tariffs and all this stuff. Trump is a master negotiator. All right, so all of the things that Biden did, especially produce oil, did not trickle down to the pump. But with Trump, producing oil here in this country has trickled down to you at the pump. So I think it's a big difference in how two different presidents went about it. And one is showing you the cost savings at the pump, while the other, you weren't getting them.
You were not. A lot of regulation, a lot of red tape being lifted. Doug Burgum talking about that a little bit this morning. Middays with Gerard Gibbert will be in Columbus on Wednesday at the Columbus Convention and Visitors Bureau in downtown. We're going to talk about upcoming events, including the Christmas Open House and the Wassail Fest. Look forward to seeing you there. It's Middays with Gerard Gibbert in Columbus this Wednesday. 8 o'clock hour is on the way. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. News is next.
Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Hey, 8 o'clock hour, mornings with Richard Cross. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us, however long your commute may be, or maybe you're sitting in the house having a third or fourth or maybe even a first cup of coffee. Whatever it is, appreciate you being with us. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. Again, 601-879-4395. Ready for try one more time. Are you ready for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? They are on right now at C-Spire. Like the new iPhone Pro 17 Pro, free with trade-in. Get yours today at cspire.com. C-Spire, customer inspired. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. JT Mitchell will join us for the last couple of, last half hour, 20 minutes or so of the show. We'll talk about all that's happening in the world of news here in the state of Mississippi. A couple of things. We got a text message that got me thinking, and this is not a show that is a sports show. You got lots of options to get that, including Sports Talk Mississippi this afternoon. Hey, Dad and Borky and I will be with you from 3 until 6, and man, have we got a lot to talk about. Oh, boy, have we got a lot to talk about. But because of the weekend that we had, it's kind of top of mind for everyone. And I understand if you've got an X account and you use the For You feed, it's kind of curated. But man, my X feed, in addition to, it's an interesting mix, but kind of inundated with people tied to Florida and tied to LSU, and so maybe news and politics is actually providing a break for you from conversations about who got fired and where everybody's going, and are there enough coaches to go around, and all the buyout money and all of it. We're at like $200 million. $200 million this year, with 3 weeks left in the regular season and then conference championship games, already eclipsed the $200 million dollar mark for this cycle in buyout money.
You got to educate those kids, man. Where all that money ends up going, right?
Yeah, it's maybe not. But man, what a fun final few weeks of the season. Tomorrow night you'll have the first college football playoff rankings coming out. It's all over the place.
I'm still curious if Governor Landry's going to bring in Trump to do the negotiating for his new AD and potential football coach.
You know what's going to change at LSU?
Nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Despite all the bluster from Landry about agents and all that all that stuff. But the question that got me thinking about this was one that said, hey, I missed the early part of the show. I think it was was it Dave?
Charles and Matheson.
Charles, missed the early part of the show. Did you bring up the YouTube TV ESPN squabble? Sheesh, what a nuisance. Charles, I agree with you. It was a nuisance over the weekend. And I actually did not, I have YouTube TV. I did not make the swap yet. I'm going to see how long this goes. I will tell you this, I am not going another football Saturday without ESPN and the SEC network. Not doing it. I kind of tried, Lance, to swap over, and I was going to go to Hulu, or I was going to go to DirecTV Stream or whatever, but I'd like to think that I'm fairly technologically savvy, but I couldn't figure it out. It was like I already had a Hulu account, and I was trying to add this, and did I want to add this, and could I get the app to work? And I finally just was like, yeah, whatever.
Enough's enough.
I'm going to a game tonight. That's enough. And Thomas says he has the Hulu thingamabob.
Yeah, I got that. I've had it since they came out with it, and I've been impressed over the years. You know,
do you like the guide and the interface? Is it fairly?
I don't care for any of that. I mean, it's, you know, when you grow up with everything in order and you knew the channel number and all that, it takes time to kind of get used to the alphabetized order. But you can change things around. But you know, I mean, it gets intuitive. But again, I don't quite like the live guide features on either YouTube or Hulu. They could do better there. However, both are quality products. I've just gone with Hulu.
I do like that YouTube TV has gotten to the point where it kind of shuffles the channels that you watch most, and so you can easily get to them.
Yeah, Hulu has that. You can just go to favorites or recents or all. You know, it's really, you know, not hard to use. It's just not as, you can't go, okay, channel 212. You know, you kind of got to find it. But once you get used to it, I mean, it's like anything else. It's just a little practice and muscle memory.
Mr. West says he just got Fubo. It's better than all of them. Thomas doesn't like the ads on Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, I pay for the no ads, but you still on live TV are going to get ads, and in some programming you're going to get ads. I mean, there's a misunderstanding that there's no ads. You know, just when you pay for the no ad feature.
I don't know what the right answer to give you is.
Oh, TV is a mess, man. I mean, it's a mess.
All I know is when I jumped on YouTube TV several years ago, it was like $35 a month, and now it's $90 a month. And I've never considered changing, even though the price has gone up. And what I wanted to say, and look, I understand that ESPN has an end game here. They're trying to get as many people to their direct-to-consumer function as possible. And so they're not really giving in on the negotiation. Here's what I would say, though, to the people at YouTube TV, which is Google, is that I didn't change as you went from $35 a month to $82.99 a month. What makes you think I'm going to change if you increase my bill by another $5 or $10? Like, just give me the content that I want. I don't know. Curious, RC, are you an ESPN employee or a 1099 self-employed? I guess that's a little personal, but I don't mind telling you that ESPN has 3 categories of employment. One is just kind of as they need you, and that's a 1099 position. Then they have what's called recurring, and that's the category that I fall into, and that is a W-2 position, but it's not full-time, which is their final category, and it has to do the reason they're categorized the way they are has everything to do with the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare and some of the requirements that they had for what an employer offers to employees who are full-time or not full-time. So I am an ESPN W-2 employee that gets retirement benefits, but they don't offer insurance to me. I mean, that's what you wanted to know. So yeah, that's where I am. But again, I can't. I mean, I even toyed with the idea of just going to like the back to DirecTV, not with the satellite, but the DirecTV stream, which is basically like the old full DirecTV package.
And I've had
the ultimate one that gets everything.
I had DirecTV for so long, man, and once I got them in the rear view, I did Dish for a long time before the streaming services, and I found that Dish's customer service was really off the charts good compared to DirecTV. So I would have DirecTV at deer camp only because we have to, basically.
Yeah.
And it is the absolute most terrible service that you can possibly get. And I don't mean that, to be ugly toward DirecTV. It's just, it really is if that's the only option you have, then, it's definitely going to bridge the gap until you may get something that's more up to date. But, yeah, it is an old platform. And it's very costly, very costly.
Yeah. Gary says as an ESPN employee, you should get all the ESPN channels for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the truth of the matter is I do, but my ESPN account is tied to a different login and password, and it gets really complicated to log out of everything and get all of that with different password and user, and it like keeps defaulting to other whatever. I mean, technically,
you just going the easy route.
Well, I mean, I was able to pull it up on my computer, but it's like there's an old man yells at cloud. You said a second ago you were so used to forever just. Like, I just want to turn on the TV and watch the channels that I want to watch.
Hey, I'll say that's the strongest thing with DirecTV to me is the ease of finding what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the point in all of it. I was trying to look at all the different streaming services that I was subscribed to. It's like, what are we doing?
I'm telling you, it's a mess.
Just wish I could get it all in one place.
Yes. Someday somebody's going to make a bunch of money figuring that one out.
So, yeah, that's something that lots and lots and lots of you are talking about today. Mornings with Richard Cross rolls on right after this.
I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
From the Venable Glass.
From Sumner to Summit to Summerall, Richard has something for you. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
I can tell by the way you smile when you're rolling back. Come wash the night time clean. Come roll the scorched ground green. Blow the horn and tap the tambourine. Close the gap with the dark.
Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us on this Monday morning, the 3rd of November. If you're in the market for a new or previously owned vehicle, I'd love to tell you about my friends at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. They're located in Oxford on Highway 6 West. If you're coming into town, if you're coming in on Highway 6 from Batesville, it's on your right. They've got a great selection on the lot right now of new and previously owned vehicles. If Ford is the direction you're going, they've got Expeditions and F-150s and F-250s and Explorers and Broncos all on the lot. Big selection of previously owned vehicles, regardless of the make or the model. And if it's Oxford Toyota, well, it's right there at the exact same location with all of the best Toyota vehicles on the lot. But it's not just about the vehicles that are available. It's about the process, right? Most people don't love the process of buying a new or previously owned vehicle, but it's something you got to do. So if you are in the market today or in the market a month from now or going to be in the next year, I'd encourage you just to, at the very least, check in with my friends at Belk Ford and Oxford at Toyota. Give them a chance to earn your business. I think you're going to like the way that they do business. Great financing options, the best that you'll find anywhere. They'll get you into the plan that you can afford, and they're not going anywhere. The Belk family has been in the automobile industry for over 100 years, and they got plans to stick around for a long time going forward as well. Check them out online, belkford.net, oxfordtoyota.com. Would really appreciate it if you told them that you heard about them from me on Mornings with Richard Cross. I promise you they will take great care of you. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. We did get a funny message from Mike in Gulfport. He says, Mom Dami will probably have free TV in New York. Says everything else is going to be free. Why not television as well? Maybe that's a reason to vote for the communist in New York. Maybe. Yesterday, perhaps you saw Donald Trump on 60 Minutes. Covered a lot of ground. It was a 90-minute interview. I only put about half of it on the air. You can get the entire transcript. 60 Minutes immediately made that available so as to not have any more lawsuits against them. Covered a lot of ground in the interview, including the fact that he believes China and Russia are testing nuclear weapons. He recently said that the United States needs to be testing our nuclear weapons, and in defending the decision, he argued that countries other than North Korea are actually testing their weapons, including Russia and China. He said, direct quote, Russia's testing nuclear weapons and China's testing them too. You just don't know about it. Nora O'Donnell was the interviewer. She said that would certainly be newsworthy. And he said Russia's testing and China's testing, but they don't talk about it. You know, we're an open society. We're different. We talk about it. We have to talk about it because otherwise you people are going to report. They don't have reporters that are going to be writing about it. We do. With regard to Cuomo and Mamdani, he said, I would rather vote for a bad Democrat than a communist. The direct quote from Trump was this: it's going to be hard for me as president to give a lot of money to New York because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money that you're sending there. So I don't know that he's won, and I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you. As it pertains to the government shutdown, which is now at 42 days, is that right? I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. No, that's not the case this time. In fact, 13 times now, Senate Democrats have voted against reopening the government through passing the continuing resolution that would continue funding levels at the way they were before the shutdown. John Thune, who is about the coolest character you'll find in the Senate. Most people that have worked with him or around him say he's one of those guys that you never, ever hear raise his voice. He never outwardly gets angry. That was not the case in the Senate on Thursday of last week. It was. He really, really lashed out at Senate Democrats, and we'll see where it goes. You know, there've been touch points that people said, okay, this is going to mark the end, right? It was they wanted to get past the No Kings rally. because there was pressure from Democrats to make sure that that happened before they voted to reopen the government, and then they didn't reopen the government. And now there are people that are saying, well, they want to get past the election in New York. And then once that's done, then they will vote to reopen the government. But we'll see. Trump was asked about ICE raids and DOJ indictments, Department of Justice indictments. Norah O'Donnell asked him if ICE had gone too far, and he said, no, I don't think they've gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama. O'Donnell said, are you okay with those tactics? And he said, yeah, because you've got to get the people out. Just some of the things that Donald Trump talked about yesterday. Did you see the news out of Mexico over the weekend? Scary stuff. Mayor Carlos Manzo of I'm not going to say that right. Uruapan, Western Mexico.
Uruapan.
He took on cartels that ran extortion rackets on avocado growers. That is the part of Mexico where the avocado industry is massive. And you had cartels that went in broad daylight and assassinated Carlos Manzo, the mayor of Uruapan.
I lived in Michoacan, where when I was down there, and it is definitely rough. Now, it wasn't then. About the time I left, it's started to get pretty bad with the cartels and then the vendetta gangs that were combating the cartels. And so it is a rough spot now, and he was extremely outspoken against the cartels.
Manzo had taken to national media to ask the federal government in Mexico for more help in fighting gangs that ran extortion rackets across western Mexico for years, said the criminals who resisted arrest should be killed if they didn't surrender. Michoacan, is that where you're talking about? Where you were?
The state of Michoacan, yeah, and Uruapan's in Michoacan, I believe.
Okay. It's been a battleground for successive organized crime groups that have battled each other to extort the state's avocado and lime growers. The state's also been seeded with meth labs and is home to the Pacific port of Lázaro Cárdenas, an important entry point for precursor chemicals from Asia used to make fentanyl.
Yep, been going on there for a long time. Lázaro Cárdenas is a pretty nice-sized port on the western coast down on where it humps down, and it's a direct shot from the Pacific countries. So it has always been a place where paraphernalia and goodies come in that shouldn't be.
Yeah. The more things change in Mexico, the more they stay the same, and that is cartels willing to engage in very public assassinations to strike fear in the heart of any politicians that might try to threaten their ability to make money.
Sounds kind of like something that was been going on in this country. Gun sights on the conservatives because they kind of going after those that don't agree with them, or vice versa. Yeah, I mean it seems like a playbook, a page out of it.
Been going on there for a long time. Anytime you have tried to, and I'm not necessarily suggesting that you should go watch Narcos, but it's this is not new. It is a story that has happened over and over and over. When the cartels feel threatened, they engage in wars against the politicians that are threatening them.
A lot of extortion, kidnapping, things of that nature. Actually, there was a term used in Mexico for many years called secuestrador. It's actually kind of a pastime. A secuestrador is a kidnapper. Yeah, so that's actually accepted. It was for many years down there. This is normal, kidnapping. They call them secuestradors.
Yeah. Scary stuff in Louisiana over the weekend. 2 young girls were hospitalized after they were thrown from a Ferris wheel at a weekend harvest festival in Louisiana.
Oh, my goodness.
The incident unfolded at around noon on Saturday at the Harvest Festival on False River in New Roads, Louisiana, about 40 miles northwest of Baton Rouge. Sheriff Rennie Thibodeau said both girls injured in the incident are under the age of 13. Both were taken to hospitals, one of them airlifted to a medical facility. The Louisiana Office of State Fire Marshal is actively investigating the incident in which 2 riders fell from a Ferris wheel. Scary stuff. Just go to the festival and get the wristband and ride the rides, and bad stuff. Said the Ferris wheel caught one of the wires, tilted over, 2 girls fell out, heard like a body, just something falling, heard a loud boom.
From the Seabrook, the sun is up, the coffee is on, and you're starting your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross, here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
It's a Monday morning on Mornings with Richard Cross, and that means JT Mitchell is along to hang out for a little while and talk about some of the news stories that we are keeping an eye on this week. He's the news director with our Super Talk Mississippi news team. We're glad to be with you, JT. I got kind of a snarky little text message from JT last week. Lance told me that I bailed on him.
Without any notice.
My apologies.
I thought we were friends.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Well, I don't bail on my friends without telling them.
My apologies. I will try to make sure that you have my calendar and you have my schedule, and if anything happens.
Just share it with me. Share the Cross family calendar with me. I'll add my stuff to it as well.
You sure you want that?
No, I'm just kidding, dude.
Remember, there are 3 kids and activities galore that help.
And he's also cooking 4 turkeys for Thanksgiving, so he could probably use a little help.
I haven't decided if 4 is going to be the number.
Maybe 5.
Just add me for this month. That way I know we'll keep our Monday segments going, and then I'll know when to show up on Thanksgiving.
There you go. You are invited. Might as well come. We've got big crowd coming, so
and
one more mouth to feed, not a big deal.
Speaking of November.
And bring your lovely wife.
Okay, so you got enough for both of us. I will.
Absolutely.
Speaking of November, Richard, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you started listening to Christmas music?
No, I'm usually a post-Thanksgiving Christmas music guy.
10% of the population, according to Pandora, listens to Christmas music on November 1st.
Okay.
That's 1 in 10 Americans. I thought that was kind of shocking that people wake up after Halloween and immediately turn on Mariah Carey.
I don't really have a problem with that. If that's your jam, it's just like I need to get through one holiday before I go to the next. Like I'm not a big Halloween guy, but kids and all that good stuff, and Halloween was fun. But I think Thanksgiving is due more respect than it gets.
I can get behind that. I'm like you. I don't knock anybody who wants to start celebrating Christmas right after Halloween. But I am a Halloween guy. And so I need a moment to rest. And then I need a moment to go over to Richard Cross's house and eat one of the 4 turkeys, the whole turkey. And then I can start listening to Christmas music. But I'm not going to be mad if it's on the radio and I hear it and I might start to sing along.
Yeah. No fried turkey at my house, only smoked turkey.
That's fine. I'm trying to be, lean meats only.
Yeah, I need to figure out a way to lean up a little bit between now and the holidays.
No, it's bulking season.
Well, then I'm prepared. I am prepared for a hibernation then, I guess.
You bulk now, you work out January 1st, and you'll be ripped before you know it.
So tomorrow is an election day. If it is under the radar, then you haven't been paying attention to JT because for a month or so now, he has been reminding you that we have an election day. Not an election day in all 82 counties, though, and it's one of those that's kind of strange. We've got special elections, 17 seats, 7 of those are unopposed. Right? I think that's what you said. So we've got 10 that are going to be decided between the House and the Senate at the ballot box tomorrow. And we went through some of those races, maybe even all the races in the 7 o'clock hour. But what stands out for you? What are the most hotly contested races that we've got?
Well, first and foremost, you're right. It is an absolute hodgepodge of elections. And so
a hodgepodge, he says.
Because think about it. 14 are from a federal order, and then you had 3 when Clarksdale got a new mayor, Orlando Payton, Jackson got a new mayor, John Horn, and David Jordan in Greenwood decided to retire. And so you throw them together, that's 17. 10 will be contested. But there's a lot of local elections happening. So what I encourage you to do is do exactly as I did. Go to y'allvote.ms. That's y'allvote.ms. Type in your address, and it will tell you if you have an election. For example, when I looked up my address in Jackson, it said that I have a coroner's race to vote in tomorrow. That's the only thing that will be on the ballot in my neighborhood.
Okay.
And, you know, if I didn't go to y'allvote.ms, I might not have known that. And so that's what I encourage people to do, because they sneak up on you. And I know that coroner may be very, very bottom of the ballot, but in some places, if you have school board, that's huge. Of course, if you are in a place that has a legislative election, that's huge. These are the people you're sending to the Capitol or sending to your local city hall or wherever they meet to discuss what's happening in your backyard. And so y'allvote.ms, that's what I tell people to go do. Just go search your address.
Where am I typing in my, just in the search bar?
So there should be, in my article at supertalk.fm, if you go to what to know before heading to the polls, it should be there on the homepage. You can go to the online tool, that's right. You click it, and then it should show up like this, My Election Day. You probably can't see that.
There we go. Yeah, that's not showing up great on the camera, but yeah.
But then you type in your zip code and your residential address. And listen, on the text line, or if you're Richard Cross, I'll send you the link exactly so you can plug it in. But it is going to be a big election day, and we'll be covering it like a blanket. We'll be here pretty much all night long doing the hourly updates on 52 stations across the state. And then, of course, we'll have some written recaps and some live results at supertalk.fm.
Outstanding.
But I know you asked me about which elections I am watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching all of them, don't get me wrong. But that one in the Hattiesburg area between Johnny Dupree and Anna Rush, I haven't gotten a feel in the area where people are leaning to, but I know both candidates have a long resume. Obviously, Johnny Dupree on the Democratic side was the former mayor for a pretty long time. He ran for governor, secretary of state, every other office in the nation, and now he's running for a seat at the Capitol. And then Anna Rush, she just sounds like she is one of the up-and-coming attorneys in this state. And so that's one that I'm keeping my eyes on for sure.
I finally found the link you were talking about there.
Okay, so you got it. Type in your zip code, your residential address. Sometimes you do have to type it in a little bit slow. It's the government, after all, but it will work.
I got nothing.
Did it? You got nothing?
No. I mean, like, not in a bad way, but nothing that I'm voting for tomorrow.
You have no elections, you see, and now you double-checked.
That's right.
And I come on here.
Which I knew that already, but regardless, yeah.
And I come on here and I preach and say that everybody needs to vote. That way you can go home and complain, blah, blah, blah. For the record, I will be voting in the coroner's race tomorrow, just so I can come back on here and tell everybody else to vote next time around. I know that coroner might not seem like a big deal. That's the only election in my neck of the woods, but it's still an election, and I still like to complain.
Well, I mean, it's not complaining. It's exercising your civic duty.
That is absolutely correct. So the polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. tomorrow. And so for the 14 seats that were based on this federal order, we had the primaries in August. Tomorrow will be the final say. For the 3 seats that are left vacant in the Jackson-Madison area, the Clarksdale area, and the Greenwood area, there's a bunch of candidates because this is the first time that there's been an election on it. If nobody gets the 50% plus one, there will be a runoff on December 2nd.
So another election day in which turnout will be key. And in all of these races, right, that's what we're hearing candidates say over and over. It's what we're hearing party officials say, whether it's the Mississippi Democrat Party or the Republican Party here in Mississippi. Turnout is the key. You've got to get your people out if you want to win.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I know you've had Secretary Michael Watson come on tons and tons of times, and they're trying hard to get people to go vote. It's just a difficult thing to do. For whatever reason, people don't want to vote. And it's not the easiest state to vote in, but it's definitely not the hardest.
That's right. Take your ID with you, and you check in, and you get your opportunity to vote, and go from there. What else are we watching this week as we roll into a new news week? And I guess let me ask you, tee this up for you. The snap conversation in in Mississippi is an interesting one. Governor Reeves, with us on Mornings with Richard Cross months ago, said that he would consider asking for that waiver that a bunch of other states, especially states around us, have gone with, in which cut back on what you could buy with SNAP, eliminating the sugary, bad-for-you stuff.
So you're right. He broke that news on your program a couple months ago where he said they're considering requesting a waiver, which would mean no more Cokes, no more Snickers, no more sugary beverages. Get rid of the junk food via SNAP purchases. On Friday, they finally did it. And now you await the federal government to see if they'll grant it, but they have granted it for 12 other states. But the timing is pretty interesting, considering everything else that's going on with SNAP amid the shutdown.
Interesting story out of Rankin County as it pertains to economic development. We'll talk about that with JT on the other side of this break. You've got it locked in. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Just a few minutes left with you on this Monday morning. We're back after this quick timeout.
Good and brown when you get them biscuits baked around a band and pound. I got pig at home with people going feeding my own on needs for the girl feed where I'm gone.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
No matter where you're from, Abbeville, Batesville, DeIberville, or any other ville in the SIP, you're starting your day off right. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Small wheel turn my fire and God. Big wheel turn my grace of God. Every time that wheel turn round, bound to color just a little more ground.
Welcome one last time. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi. JT Mitchell in our network studios. He is the news director with our Super Talk Mississippi news team. Appreciate all the work, all the hours that the news team puts in. They're all over the place, keeping up with everything that is happening. If you don't regularly visit supertalk.fm, I would encourage you to bookmark that page, click on the news tab, and you can see all the latest news stories. You will be informed if you do that. All right, JT, let's go to Rankin County. Brandon residents are wanting more information about utility resources as it pertains to the new data center. Want to know that their utility bills are not going to go up. Want to make sure that there's not going to be a detrimental impact on the environment. How much of a headache is this causing for local leaders who have been, local leaders and state leaders who have been, trumpeting and shouting from the rooftops about this economic development project and others?
As for how much of a headache it's causing, I think at this point, not terribly much.
Okay.
I'm just going to be honest, because we actually had a candidate for Rankin County Board of Supervisors tomorrow text in on the text line. They're running. Well, Jill Sanchez, our reporter who wrote this story, could not get a response from any members of the Board of Supervisors about what they think. I mean, this is a petition that's gathered roughly 1,000 signatures, and Jill hunted down the people who are behind the petition, interviewed them, reached out to the governor's office, who he said he thinks it's great. And no word from the Board of Supervisors, though.
Okay.
Really, what the petition is calling for is some clarification. That's what I gathered from it, is they want to know that this $6 billion AVAI data center in Brandon, which ground is already broken on, is not going to be detrimental to the environment. And more importantly to them, I think, is it's not going to hike their utility bills. Because, with the Amazon data centers in Madison County, not far from Rankin County, people were concerned as well. And Energy came out and said, look, it's not going to impact your power bills. We're currently in the middle of our super grid program where we're expanding the grid as much as possible to ensure that economic development can happen without the taxpayers having to pay more every single month via their electricity bills or maybe their water bills, etc. And so that's what these residents are calling for, but they've heard only crickets. And that's where we're at.
Yeah. Well, and the truth of the matter is, with these large-scale economic development projects, especially the data centers, there's a lot of juice that you got to have to run them, right? They need a lot of electricity, and in a lot of cases, they need a lot of water. I don't think it's an unreasonable concern, but I do think the folks at MDA and the governor's office and other entities that are involved in these projects, it's not like it's the first time they've thought about this.
No.
And we've talked with economic development people for years now about the power needs for these large-scale projects. And they're significant.
And they are significant. You're absolutely correct. And that's pretty much what the governor's office said. I think these people would just feel a lot better if their local elected officials and maybe the utility companies came out with a joint statement and said, yes, this is a huge project, but nothing is going to change when it comes to your monthly bills. Because they're not the first people to raise concerns nationally when it comes to the onset of hyperscale data centers. I mean, we've heard all the noise in Memphis. We've heard all the noise in Virginia where local officials have expressed concerns about the power demand. We've heard all the noise in Texas where they say the water system has been strained in areas because of hyperscale data centers. And so I think the residents of Brandon who at least have signed this petition would just feel a little bit better if they got some assurance from their local elected officials.
Hey, last thing for you. Jessica Bond Ferguson. This is the mother of 5 that shot the monkey that was outside her home near Heidelberg. We're not worried about any sort of legal recourse against Mrs. Bond Ferguson, are we?
I would not think so, because you can't...
I mean, they whacked the other monkeys.
And
it was just officials that whacked them.
And that was law enforcement based on misinformation the truck driver had given them. And so I don't think Miss Bond Ferguson should face any litigation because she may not have seen the statement from MDWFP. She may not have read SuperTalk.fm where all officials were saying, hold on, we were wrong at first. These monkeys are not carrying diseases, and so you should just call the police instead of taking rash action.
Yeah.
Because you know how word gets around.
Sure.
And so she could have heard through the neighborhood group message that they're dangerous.
Hey, just to be clear, is there any evidence to support the online theory that it was monkeys that overtook the driver that caused the wreck initially? Do we have confirmation on that?
We're still waiting from comment from local authorities on that one.
That does it for us. That's JT Mitchell. Check it out, supertalk.fm. This is Mornings with Richard Cross.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.